So this is the foggy little town of Pinsk. Let's go check it out. So we'll start on the central square then, and my goodness, what an iconic Lenin statue that is. This is the cool thing about small little towns. You get like tourist boards like this. And it seems all the sites are very accessible, just all along the river there. But for nature, then Pinsk has to win. Now, one thing that's sometimes lacking in capital cities is a nice chilled out pedestrian street where you can just cruise along at your own pace. Pinsk has got this one here. Let's go have a walk down it, shall we? It was completely foggy when I arrived. Just popped in a cafe for a quick coffee, and when I came out, it's completely cleared. So this is something you don't see in the capital cities. It's like cultivated trees. If you like British pubs, then Pinsk is the place for you. Wow, someone here is a serious fan of Churchill and done a collage. Looks like a bit of a treat from the Soviet days at the end of the pedestrian street there. Hanging the daily newspapers in the street was common during the Soviet period. Pinsk is keeping that tradition going. If you compare the hustle and bustle with Minsk to the tranquility of Pinsk, well then, if you're looking for something a little bit more relaxing, chilled out, well then Pinsk wins that category. So here we are in Minsk then. Now I guess it goes without saying that the capital city is the main and probably best city of any country in most cases, and I'm sure that's no different here. But obviously you've got to take into account that Pinsk is 10 times smaller, so everything's going to be 10 times less as well. The entertainment, the restaurants, everything like that. But then again, it can be 10 times less because there's 10 times less people, so it should all be relative really. One cool thing about Minsk is that it doesn't shy away from its Soviet past, which is cool, as you still get to see things like this. So my word, it doesn't get much better or worse than that, depending on your viewpoint. Now Minsk is famous for its tractor factory, and it seems that the tractors are still being put to use, not just in the rural areas, but in the capital city as well. I guess capital cities tend to have a more stuffy feel, don't they? And I think Minsk is certainly no exception there. Transport in Minsk is plentiful. They've got the lot: trams, trolleybuses, buses, minibuses, and of course they've got the Minsk metro. There's a metro stop there. You just go underground and get around the city, and that's probably the best way to get around the city, let's be honest, by metro. Of course, Minsk being a Soviet-built city means it's very spread out, so you need good transport. Whereas in the regional towns like Pinsk and the others, the central areas is all very much more compact, and you can actually walk around. So I guess you don't really need transport that much. So Minsk, like most of Belarus, was completely destroyed during the Second World War and was built up afterwards in the Stalinist style. So it does feel rather grandeur in parts.
I think the Moscow cinema is a great example of modern Minsk. You see, I mean, this building used to be 100% Soviet, whereas now they've sort of softened it down a bit, modernised it, and now it's only kind of 50% Soviet. You see again there, the old and the new together.
What's interesting is you might expect Pinsk just to be full of huge monolithical Soviet blocks, but actually it's not necessarily the case. In fairness, Pinsk has got its own university, Pinsk has actually got this pretty sizable park right in the city centre. Now I realise that the following isn't make or break in your decision as to whether to visit a provincial town in Belarus or not, but my goodness, they seem to have a problem with cobwebs here. I've been attacked by cobwebs about 3 or 4 times already. I do not believe it. Straight after I did that piece, I walked into another one. Well, I mean, you can't see them. They're not visible, they're sneaky. Look, there's a huge one. Well, there's 2 huge ones. Can you see that? Is the camera picking up or not? That's unbelievable. Hopefully the camera did pick it up, because otherwise you're going to think I'm a bit odd. Right, look, you can see them clearly this time. Now, sure, I understand, compared to other travel annoyances, like getting robbed or something, yeah, cobwebs isn't a major issue, but whatever, I'm just saying. I'm at a bus stop now, but no one else seems to be, and I think the reason for that is that the public transport in Pinsk is pretty rubbish, because I'm not seeing hardly any buses. Yeah, to be honest, outside of the central area, Pinsk isn't that cool, but then again, if you're just visiting for a few days, you're probably only going to stay in the central area. So, for the purposes of this experiment, that's all that matters. So Pinsk is still cool at the moment, apart from the cobwebs. So against all odds, plucky provincial Pinsk managed to snatch a draw against the mighty Minsk. Both places are well worth a visit.